Alright, good afternoon YouTube. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about why you should be doing frequent pull-ups for power building and how to do them. So let's start with the why. Pull-ups are one of those exercises that you can do on a very frequent basis. And there are very little consequences for doing so, but there are a lot of upsides. In the hierarchy of vertical pulls, pull-ups stand at the top. It's a movement that allows you to use almost every muscle in your back, so traps, rhomboids, rear delts, lats of course, and then your ability to overload this movement is higher than most other exercises. And especially with, even if you were to max out the stack of a lat pull down, it just wouldn't give you the same benefit of having weight on your waist or in a vest and then doing some weighted pull-ups. So it's a movement that is high in intensity, but also because it is high intensity, because it is able to be overloaded more than other movements, but it also just uses more back muscles than I think other exercises do. And another key benefit to doing pull-ups on a frequent basis is that it keeps your shoulders healthy. There's a lot more than just the shoulders being used to keep them healthy. So by doing a lot of vertical pulls, by doing a lot of pull-ups, you're keeping your shoulder joint healthy to counteract all the forward motion that we do. So bench pressing, overhead pressing, and just everything in life that we do is out in front of us. So we kind of strengthen everything back there to pull us into a better postural position. And then more than that is because we load our spine so much with squats, deadlifts, rows, and other exercises, the pull-ups give us an opportunity to deload the spine because we're hanging from the bar and we're able to get a restorative or recovery benefit from there. So how do we actually implement this? And that is, there's a couple ways to do this. First is grease the groove. This is something that a lot of people do or a lot of people implement if they're not so good at pull-ups, but even if you are fairly good at pull-ups, there's still ways that you can implement this that are beneficial to you. So with grease the groove, one thing that is very important to understand is that you are nowhere near approaching failure. You want to be using reps that you can manage. Usually when I have clients and we do any type of pull-up training, I tell them once it starts to feel difficult, stop the set immediately because you're going to get your volume through set multiplication rather than rep multiplication. So let's say you have a max of 6 reps, do 2 to 3 reps, and you do that for multiple sets. So for me, my max pull-ups at right now is around 8 to 10. So whenever I do pull-ups, I only go up to a max of 5 because after that point, even though I could get more, it becomes a struggle to do so, and my ability to perform more reps decreases drastically per set after that set of 8 to 10. So I don't do that. Another thing that you want to be doing with pull-ups is that pull-ups can actually be done on a very frequent basis in your main training. So on lower body days, I like to use the pull-up as a superset on the supplemental exercise, meaning the second exercise of the day. With the upper body days, I like to use it as the superset for the main push of the day, whether it's bench or overhead press. I like to superset these movements just because it makes me feel like I'm able to get in a tighter position. My shoulders are more locked in. I feel safer in my presses when I do this. And the squat and the deadlift are much more mentally and physically fatiguing than the bench and overhead press are. So I like to keep the deadlift and the squat in kind of their own box. They are the only exercise that I believe are excluded from my superset all the things mentality for the purpose of the main workouts. If you're doing like a GPP workout or just a regular fitness or more endurance-based workout, then it's fine to superset them. But there's things you have to adjust if you were to do that. But anyway, if you are doing an upper body workout, bench and overhead press are not as taxing as the squat and deadlift are, so I think it is more than appropriate to superset them with pull-ups or chin-ups. Another thing that you want to do when you are using frequent pull-ups into your program is that every single time you do a set, you want to change the hand position. So you want to go from neutral grip pull-ups to chin-ups to wide grip and run through a circuit or a cycle of that. Is not a circuit, a cycle, cycling through each of those per set. So let's say on my first warm-up set, I'll do a wide grip. Then on my second warm-up set, chin-up. Then my last warm-up set, neutral. And then on my first working set, I go back to the wide. So I'm going through all of that, switching through them, and the reason why is this. I found that after 6 to 8 weeks of doing just the plain old pull-up, I developed like elbow pains in either one of my elbows, and possibly some issues in my wrist. But if I alternate between variations, I found that that is no longer an issue, and I'm able to train this way indefinitely, from what it seems like. So after around 6 to 8 weeks, I noticed that I was starting to feel pain in my elbows. I took about 2 to 3 weeks to kind of address that, get the pain out of there, and then I implemented the switching of the grips, and I have not run into an issue for the past, let's see, 3 4 months doing this kind of alternating. So do that. And like I said, you never approach failure on your chin-ups. So because you're doing so many sets, I start my first set with my first warm-up set. Because I do so many sets, I am getting a lot of volume from there, so that way I don't need to do a lot of reps per set, but every rep that I do is clean, crisp, and high quality. So the next thing I will advocate is that you should only do this for one exercise in the main training session. So like I said, for the lower body days, it's going to be the superset for your supplementary movement. And for your upper body day, it's going to be the superset for the main pressing work. Reason being is that if you're heavy like me, you might find that if you were to just kind of go overboard with it, you might fry yourself out, you might kind of push it too far, because you have to remember, you're doing this on a fairly regular basis, almost daily. So you need to kind of manage the volume in some way, and the way you do that is by only doing it with one exercise. That's what I found works for me, but if you find that you can get away with more and superset pull-ups with another exercise, experiment with that, see how it feels for you, but I generally don't advise it. It's not something that I do, but if it works for you, then who am I to say anything? So that is it for this video. See how this works out for you, see how this can fit into your training. Me personally, I really like it. I think that my back development has been the best that it has ever been, because my pull-up is the intensity movement, and then I use a lot of rowing and even the lat pull down to get more volume, and that combination of having this intensity movement and more volume through other exercises has been providing dividends for my back. So I hope you get the same results from doing high frequency pull-ups. Pull-ups are just an amazing exercise for a variety of reasons. Being able to control your body through space, being able to keep your shoulders healthy, so that way you can train for longer. These are all great things, and that is why, in my opinion, there is no downside to doing frequent pull-ups, so long as you manage the volume and intensity appropriately. So that's it for this video. I'm CrossFitKing, StanStrength.com. Always remember to start where you stand, and if you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.